yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
It's Tuesday on the Redbird Rush Hour. Matt Pauley is at the ballpark. I'm Kevin Wheeler. I am back in the KMOX studios. Just finished up DGS. Matt Pauley, how you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. Good to be talking to you after a win yesterday.
Pretty entertaining game yesterday.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things happened, obviously, which we'll talk about in a moment, the Contreras thing. But I thought from a baseball standpoint, what McGreevy did last night, bouncing back after the inning he gave it the home runs, Mason Wynn's backup on that air.
Wow.
By the way, he was one of the most spectacular things you've seen in a baseball game. Alec Burleson hitting the walk-off home run. I mean, that was a really fun ball game last night.
Yeah, Burley had a big day. Gorman had a good day. There was a lot to like. I mean, again, it was an entertaining back and forth game that, led to a walk-off, obviously, but it was a back and forth. Had a blown save in there. It wasn't all perfect, but it was entertaining. Even though, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but even though it was the smallest announced crowd in Busch Stadium, the third history, which is interesting, right? Because I saw that story got picked up by the Talkin' Baseball podcast.
Yeah.
And they posted it, and then like half the comments were like, wait a minute, people in St. Louis are that mad about a 500 team? Like, there were a lot of baseball fans that are like, wow. I'm like, you're not that mad, and you're that mad, but it's all about the standard you expect. It's not necessarily about what the record is.
Yeah, we know what the attendance is. I'm not like, I don't like talking about it because nothing's happened really that's like moved the story forward. No. And it bothers me. This is why I don't talk about it a lot, because I have no problem with fans not showing up because they want to send a statement. I will never have an issue with that. Whether I agree with it or disagree with it, I will always accept that that's the fans' right to do that. You're never going to hear an argument from that. What really bothers me, and it's why I stay away from talking about it, the victory laps that a certain contingent of the fans take. Yeah. See, look what we're doing. We're telling the DeWitts. Yeah, like there's like this pride about it's sad. It is sad. The baseball team that you love, if you grow up in St. Louis and grow up in the area, it is sad to see the attendance last night. And if you take pride in that, if you want to take a victory lap, if you want to say, hey, look at us, we're really showing them. If that's the route that you take, as opposed to just kind of being sad by it, man, I don't have a lot of time for that.
I agree with you 100%. And I also think that, welcome to reality. This is what sports reality is in almost every other city, right? So many other places deal with this regularly, and you get it for a few years, and you kind of get a feel for what it's like. And I mean, look, I don't blame. Like, I'm with you. I don't blame anybody for not going or choosing to do whatever. But it is, it's been weirdly weaponized, and I think that's pretty stupid.
Yeah, and I just don't talk about it because I don't want to hear from those people, because it makes me sad for the state of the affairs. It's so many people, and I think it's probably a vocal minority, but so many people are taking pride in this, and it's not something to take pride over.
And the vocal minority is not the group staying home. That's just people making decisions for themselves.
Sure.
It's the people that are, claiming victory on it, which is,
again, I have no problem with people making a statement by not showing up to games.
Nope, never. That's your choice. 100%. All right, let's talk about some of the things that came up on the Gas House Gang today. So Tuesdays are Oliver Marmel's day on the Gas House Gang. If you don't already know it, you should. But he spends usually 30 minutes, sometimes more, the first half of the show with the guys. Today it was just Tom Ackerman and Bernie Miklas. Usually Chris Ranji's in there as well, but he had a remote appearance to make today. So it was just the two guys with Ollie. And they go over the stories of the day, good, bad, indifferent. And he pretty much takes every question, comment. He reads the comments the same way we do on the stream. And I think it's enjoyable every week. Now, there was nothing really big or controversial, but, it was an interesting conversation about what went on with Wilson Contreras last night, who got thrown out of the game late. The umpire didn't like something, and we don't really know exactly what was said. We just know what each story was. The umpire's story was that he used vulgar terms towards him, and then Contreras is like, I didn't say that. Not until later. He clearly said it later after he got tossed.
Right.
Once he got tossed, he said it all, and you could see it very clearly. But it was interesting to hear the manager's response, after a little cool down time today.
Yeah. So, and a lot of this is based off the emotion that Contreras shows, because I do think that after he got tossed, and he was very lucky Brent Brown was between him and the umpire when he threw the bat.
Yeah.
He's very lucky that Oliver Marmol obviously was able to hold him back. He was lucky on a number of things, but obviously Contreras plays with a lot of emotion, both from a positive standpoint and I think yesterday the reaction, we saw the emotion from a negative standpoint. And this was Ollie today talking about the emotion that Wilson Contreras shows.
Here's the thing with Wilson, man. He can lose his mind. And he's really good about, I'm talking about minutes after, being able to sit down and have the conversation. So I've had that conversation with him. We sat down actually twice last night, one when we were both inside right after it happened. And then after we both did media, we got a chance to discuss it a little further. At the end of the day, what the umpire thought he said and what he said did not match. And that's what got him frustrated. He wasn't frustrated with the pitch itself. He knew it was a strike. He was more frustrated that McGreevy didn't get a lot of close calls and it ended up hurting him. So he made a comment towards that. But what was said and what was heard were different in the heat of the moment. That's tough for an umpire. It's tough for everybody to get right. So he was more frustrated with getting ejected on the miscommunication there. But yeah, there's several moments within that I feel like he wishes he can have back. And until I hear from the league, I'll keep a lot of it between us as far as the Contreras and conversation. But yeah, I mean, this is a fiery guy, man, who loves to win, and he's gonna at times be very emotional. But once we hear back from the league and have a better understanding as to where this is headed, then I'll speak a little bit more to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are two parts to it. One, I really would love to see a video that shows what he said before the ejection.
Sure.
I have a feeling, just like a gut feeling, that he may have used some of the bad words in the delivering of the message that he relayed. Like, those blanking calls should probably go for my blanking guy too, or something like that.
Yeah.
And the umpire heard that word and thought he said that to him. And then, you get what I'm saying, because there can be misunderstandings in that way. I highly doubt Wilson just turned and said, hey, my guy needs to get that call too. And the umpire took that as blank you.
I'll say,
I think that's a little different.
I've got a really strong belief that umpires, if a player is walking away and says something under their breath, just let it go 9 times out of 10. Don't slow down. Part of your job is to keep the game going. And look, obviously there's some things that can't be said under your breath walking away, that just, it can't be just carte blanche, but nine times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, if the player's walking away frustrated and says something with his back turned to the umpire, umpires have to be disciplined enough just to let that go like it didn't even happen.
Yeah, except in this case, he was looking at him.
Well, no, they say that it was more when Contreras was starting to walk away.
Right, but he was looking back at him the whole time he was walking toward the dugout.
Okay, well,
yeah.
If you're walking away.
And again, I agree with you. I would rather see restraint there, because not one of us paid to see the umpire, and none of us care about his feelings.
No, the exact same thing
We're there
happened.
to see players play, and if what they're doing is in the process of leaving the field and not disrupting the action, then you should leave it alone.
Yeah, same thing happened with Nico Horner of the Cubs with the exact same umpire, Derek Thomas. He did the exact same thing with him. And so he is starting. He's a very young umpire. We don't see him a lot. I don't know if this is his first year. I don't know a lot about him, but we haven't seen him a lot over the years. So he's a young umpire. The last thing you need is this kind of reputation.
Yep. But at the same time, and I thought this was really important distinction. We talked about this with Ricky Horton earlier today on DGS. The first part doesn't change or excuse the second part.
Right.
You cannot lose control of yourself. That's not just wanting to compete, although I do appreciate Wilson's intensity. You've got to be able to turn that off once you've been ejected and not get yourself suspended and not. I don't mind the throw in the bucket of candy. Who cares about that? But you shouldn't need 10 teammates to restrain you, and you shouldn't throw the bat backward because thank God for him, it hit Brant Brown and not an umpire. Because if it hit an umpire, you're probably talking about 10, 20 game suspension.
And if Ollie gets there a split second later, there's probably contact with the umpire.
Yeah, you can't lose it like that.
Right. So, and I think Wilson would probably, like Ollie said, Wilson would probably like to have a couple of those moments back. To your point, and this is the most important thing in life. Like, if somebody comes up and calls me a name that I don't like and I punch them, that just because I was initiated by them doing something that wasn't very nice doesn't give me the, there's still personal responsibility. I can't punch the guy.
That's right. Unless he hits you first.
Right.
And then you're perfectly justified. All right. So that's first part. We're going to get another comment from Ollie, a kind of a bigger picture one about, what they're trying to accomplish and what they're doing with these last, 6 to 7 weeks of the regular season. With the guys that are still here following the trade deadline. We got that. We got a whole bunch more. We're going to take you up till 5:45 here on the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Universal Windows Direct. We have all definitely been feeling the heat this summer, and if your home isn't staying cool, your windows could be the reason why. You can blast the AC all day long, but if your windows aren't doing their job, all that cool air is going out the window, literally. Never a better time to buy. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free, and there's no limit and no interest for 5 whole years. That's 60 months of 0 interest financing. Call 314-334-2522 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com.
That baby's gone! Cardinals fans, FanDuel Sports Network is your home of the Cardinals.
That ball was mashed.
And there are more ways to watch this season.
Holy cow!
Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network to stream the Cardinals without blackouts.
How about that play?
Or watch through a TV provider.
Incredible!
Including DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Fubo, and more.
He got it!
Learn more at cardinals.com/TV.
Ball game! That couldn't have worked out any better for the Cardinals.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. Openphone.com/TRY.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or 2 half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, this traffic report's a service to the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. It looks like they cleared that crash eastbound 70 at Fifi before you get to Lindbergh, but traffic's still backed up across the Blanchette Bridge headed into that area. There's also a crash just east of our city that they were blocking the right lane for just a moment ago. Westbound 70, Kings Highway headed out through Jennings Station, 170 to the airport around that Fifi area and around the Blanchette Bridge, a little busy. Still some slow stuff. TR Hughes to K, Lake St. Louis out through 61. South 270's on the brakes, approaching Olive down to Ladue. It's backed up really all the way down through Manchester. Remains slow down to Big Bend, but after that, it finally clears out. North and South 170 between Delmar and 64 are on the brakes most of the way. Westbound 64 Boyle out to McCausland, stacked up. It's slow from 170 all the way to 270. Still busy. Clarkson most of the way to the Boone Bridge, and 364 all the way out to Highway 70. 364 Youngerman through Mid Rivers. You've got heavy stuff westbound 44, a little busy through Kings Highway, River to Pear, out through Laclede Station and Edgar. Southbound 55 Arsenal down through Bates. Westbound 44 backed up through the bridges, and eastbound 64 still delays 157 to 159. I'm Roger Brand at the Michaels Flooring Outlet.com Traffic Center.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
All right, Tuesday on the Redbird Rush Hour. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here until 5:45. We've got pregame at 5:50, first pitch at 6:45 tonight. It'll be Andre Palante for the Cardinals, Mitch Keller for the Pirates, and obviously more on all of that coming up on the pregame show, which starts with my buddy Matt here at 5:50. Let's get to the other thing we had picked out for Ollie today, and obviously we like to do this on Tuesday nights, is pick one or two, usually two, maybe three, kind of clips from the manager's appearance on the Gas House Gang and kind of talk through them. Because, in real time, he's on for a half an hour. You're going to get as many questions in as you can. It's hard to talk around it, but that's what we get to do here. And then that pushes people. If you missed it all, you can always go on any of these social media outlets and rewind from the beginning and watch. You can podcast it everywhere podcasts are done, including on the Odyssey app. A lot of ways you can catch the show if you missed it. This is like kind of some highlights for you on Tuesday nights.
And to me, I thought this might be the most interesting thing he said, because there's a lot of criticism of this team. They got off to such a good start. They were really in playoff contention, in a playoff spot, had that great month of May, and they've fallen off since then. And bluntly, they look more like what most people kind of outside of this team really thought they were going to look like this year. But no matter what you say, I think most people would agree that when you look at the talent on this roster and the talent on other rosters, this is not the most talented roster in the world. And Ollie, I think, is proud of the production that they have been able to get when you look at the individuals on the roster and what they've been able to produce.
I stayed at the stadium a little longer than usual yesterday after the game, thinking through a couple things, not so much the game, but just bigger picture. And when you look at our rotation and the velo in our rotation, and then you look at the swing and miss in our pen compared to the league, and you start thinking about how we've maximized some of that. Sorry, my 5-year-old just popped in. A very important comment.
That's important.
Yeah. But when you look at maximizing what you have, man, it's hard not to sit back and go, man, Dusty and that group have done a really good job. When I look at what Gorman's doing and some of these other guys, Burleson, and it's hard not to give credit to Brownie and Dusty and the rest of the staff and John Jay and Scott for maximizing as much of the talent that we have. So when you say disappointing, I would combat that a little bit, because I really do feel you're positioning yourself to have a really good understanding of what you have and what you don't have at the end of this year, because opportunities have definitely been given.
I mean, I get what he's saying. I mean, I think part of the problem is that was a messaging thing from above the manager's office. The front office always plays both sides of the deck, right? They don't want to commit to rebuilding, but they don't want to not rebuild. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I think the messaging has been as big a problem as anything, because you didn't come into this year saying this is a rebuild, right? They did everything they could to say everything but that. And, oh, by the way, we hope we can find a way to contend and be good in the middle of all that. But based on the way you set that up and where Ollie's coming from, like, this was not a team projected to be an 85-90 win team by neutral third-party sources, right? Like, all the numbers people had them in the 79 to 81 range from what I saw, some even lower than that. But I do think that we do have enough information on a bunch of guys. I think there are a few guys we needed more. But you can't, I mean, the way they set up the roster is not the manager's fault. He had too many pieces to fit into too few spots.
Yeah, I think they've gotten about as much as they could get. Now, on a game-to-game basis, are there moments where you could have gotten something more from somebody? Sure. But when you really take a step back and look at the season as a whole, I mean, it's a team that's right around 500 with a minus 31 run differential. They have been able to go out and get probably more wins this year than the talent on the roster would say that they were going to get. Expectations, and I'm as guilty as anybody, expectations rose very high when they had that month of May. They came back to earth in a pretty big way. We talked about it with Bernie yesterday, what their record has been over the last month and a half, 2 months, and it's really in the lower rungs of the National League. But moments like yesterday, the fact that the team was able to fight back and get the win, you see improvement from, the run that Gorman's on right now is really, really good and really, really important. Same thing with Burleson. I think same thing with Michael McGreevy. So while nobody's going to write home about a 65 and 67 record and being 17 games back in the division, which is a ton. That's not good. What is good is there have been some progress made this year.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that the thing that makes it harder for me, and I totally understand why it should be, why it was this way, but like I'm still going to look up at the end of the year, and we're not going to have 400 at bats for Nolan Gorman. We're just not. We're not going to get there. He's at 259 right now. He's not getting to 400.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at other guys with 100, 150, even 200 more at bats than he has who haven't produced, who have not produced. Nolan Arenado has 100 more at bats than he does, and he's nowhere close to producing the offensive numbers.
Yeah, and that's the case that they were going to let Arenado play. I don't think Arenado.
And that's kind of the problem from the beginning, right?
Yes.
That, like you're talking about what a team should be doing to reset and rebuild, yet you're playing a 34-year-old who's not performing.
Declining in a major way, and he's an old 34 at that. He has played. Yeah. His body is older than that for sure. I'm gonna be flat out angry if Arenado were to come back and all of a sudden Gorman's back on the bench.
Man,
that cannot happen.
No,
I don't think Arenado plays again this year. I don't think that happens. But if he does, you have to keep Gorman in the lineup every single day. He has to be the same as Alec Burleson. Right now, Burleson is a guy who's batting third in the lineup every day. Well, Nolan Gorman, I don't care where he bats, but he's got to be in the lineup every day.
Yeah, can absolutely agree. And that's what we're going to talk about next is the bigger picture there, because you could be getting Brendan Donovan and Victor Scott back soon. And that crunch is going to get crunchier. So we'll kick that around coming up next on the Redbird Rush Hour here on KMOX.
At Tax Relief Advocates, we get it. Thinking about back taxes to the IRS can be very unsettling. Don't lose hope. With thousands of 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, TRA is resolving taxpayers' delinquent tax problems nationwide once and for all. We could significantly reduce and even eliminate what you owe the IRS. If you haven't filed your taxes in years or are already facing collections, we can help. We aren't just some run-of-the-mill tax service company. We specialize in helping individuals and businesses with $10,000, $50,000, or even $500,000 in back taxes get speedy resolution. And in many cases, only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. The IRS isn't going anywhere, and neither is your tax problem. To see what tax relief you qualify for, visit TRA.com or call 800-335-8578. 800-335-8578. Again, that's 800-335-8578. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley for i3 Broadband. They are the internet service provider in my home. I'm so very happy because, look, I got a lot of things going on in my life. And anytime somebody can take one issue and just completely get rid of it, that helps me out. And certainly that's the case with i3 Broadband because of their reliability, their price, the speeds that you get and the performance. It's awesome. I'm not some super technical guy, so sometimes I don't use all the right words when talking about it, but I can tell you this, i3 internet's fast, 2 gigs, 4 gigs, 8 gig packages available. It's reliable, almost never goes down. I used to have the cable company. It went down a lot. Doesn't go down like ever. Everything's underground, so they take care of you that way. And I feel really good when I pay my bill every month because I knew how much I was paying previously and how much I'm paying now, and I'm saving money. I've got the 2 gig package, 2 gig upload, 2 gig download. Right now, you can save over $400 beyond their already low standard pricing. Here's what you do. You can call them if you got any questions. If I didn't answer all your questions, just call them. They got people ready to answer questions, and they'll sound smarter than me. 877-976-0711 or head to i3broadband.com, i3broadband.com, and put your address in.
Hello, fellow Missourians. This is your Congressman, Bob Onder. My top priority is serving you. Whether you need help with a VA claim, Social Security, Medicare, or any other federal issue, my team and I are here to cut through the red tape and give you answers. In the last 6 months alone, we have returned over $1 million to taxpayers. Call my office or visit my website, onder.house.gov, to learn more. Missouri is my home, and I'm honored to serve you in D.C.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering small ship experiences with a shore excursion included in every port and programs designed for cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com.
5:31, and we've got some sun. It is 76 downtown at the Arch. A gun was drawn after some road rage in Jefferson County, or was it?
This is Stuart McMillan. Jefferson County Sheriff's Department is looking into what it is calling a road rage incident on Highway 21 near Highway M with a pickup truck and 3 motorcycles. It took place on Saturday, where a crash injured 2 of the riders. One of them, a 69-year-old man, was taken to the hospital. There was some kind of fight that followed where the truck driver fired a handgun. Though no one was hit, police are interviewing those involved and no charges have been filed because of conflicting stories.
A look at the life of Dick Gregory. That's the topic of Wednesday night at the Missouri History Museum. Gregory, a Sumner High School graduate, was a pioneering comedian as well as an actor, writer, social critic, and civil rights activist.
I was young enough to get drafted. I'd wait till I got my induction notice, then show up in the draft board, and they give you that little questionnaire to fill out. And when they got to that little section that said occupation, I would just write murderer. That sounds funny, but you know, we got such dumb laws in this country, we would never be permitted by law to draft a murderer into the army to send him to Vietnam to kill Viet Cong.
That's from an appearance on the David Frost Show in 1968. His Vietnam comments made him a target of the FBI. Dick Gregory's brother and son will talk about his lasting impact on St. Louis and the U.S. as a whole. There'll be a spoken word performance by a Sumner graduate. It starts at 6:30.
Oh my goodness, the spectacular late August weather continues. Resort weather continues. Clear skies, temperatures in the 70s, but we're really talking low 70s for evening plans. 54 for the overnight low. Wednesday, partly sunny. 79, 80 degrees should do it for the high Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday night, some clouds and 60. Thursday, partly sunny. Just a tiny, tiny chance of a spot shower. Tough to find. Mainly holding way off to our south and southwest. 81 on Thursday. Thursday night, clear skies, 61. Let's go right through the long holiday weekend. Labor Day weekend, Friday, sunny and 82. Saturday, sunny and 80. Sunday, sunny and 81. And Monday, sunny and 83. Let's take that to the bank. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
76 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Most people have no idea there's an invisible gap in their home's protection. This invisible threat is house stealing. Con artists pick a house. They transfer the deed of this house into their name by obtaining the forms, using the fake IDs, and filing the paperwork with proper authorities. Now they own the home. Protect your home from this invisible gap. Check on your home's title right now at HomeTitleLock.com. Be sure to use promo code RADIO and they will send you a complete title scan of your home's title. And your first 30 days of triple lock title protection is free. HomeTitleLock.com.
Representative Jason Smith stopped a massive tax hike by voting to make the 20% small business tax deduction permanent. This means Missouri's small businesses can grow, hire, and invest in our. Visit smallbusinessdeduction.com and thank Representative Smith for protecting America's small businesses. Paid for by the National Federation of Independent Business.
Hi, my name is Christina Straight, the owner of Straight Realty, and I'm asking you, what do you want in a realtor? Do you want experience? I've been a broker for over 21 years. Do you want to know how much I've sold? I've sold over $500 million, yes, $1 billion with a B, in sales. Do you want value? I now list properties for only 2%. So if you're looking for all these things and want the best, then call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than $2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit cantorinjurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob! This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 1041 KMOX.
All right, Tuesday on the Redbird Rush Hour, and we had breaking news since we were last on the air. Wilson Contreras was given a 6-game suspension by Major League Baseball. He is appealing that, so he will be in the lineup tonight. And then pending the appeal, we'll see if that stays at 6, gets reduced.
It'll get reduced.
They almost always are. In fact, I think some of those suspensions are given that way, knowing they'll be reduced. So if they want to give you 3 or 4, they'll give you 6, and then you get it cut down upon appeal. So I would assume that could be the case.
I thought it was going to be a 3-gamer, like appealed down to 2.
Yeah.
So it's double what I expected it to be. So I would say that I bet it's a 6-game appealed down to 3, maybe 4.
Something along those lines would make sense. That's kind of how the process works for people that don't follow the boring details the way that we do. But yeah, Contreras is playing tonight because he's appealing that suspension. Now, we won't have a ton of time to get into it here, Matt, but let's just set it up here. Because we're facing more interesting times. You know, I saw Brendan Donovan and Victor Scott working on the field today. It sounded like they're getting closer to being back. And when both of those guys are back, we're even minus Nolan Arenado, we're back into a bit of a crunch.
Yeah. So, I mean, Nathan Church would probably go back down. So that's
at least until September. Yeah.
Right. So that's one. But yeah, this trying to the guy who's probably on the outside looking in at that point is Jordan Walker. And
it would have to be. Yeah.
Yeah. If there's one person that this runway season you've not gotten much of what you were hoping to get out of it with someone, it's Walker. You just don't know. There's still so many questions about him.
Yep. He's definitely a guy that has not provided you the answers that you were looking for. Some have been mixed bags, but his has not really been mixed. It's been not happening. And, you know, with Gorman, we've seen progress. Obviously, Burleson has run with an opportunity. Ivan Herrera has run with the opportunity. So a lot of the guys have done what you'd hope. And, you know, obviously, we talked about it before. Just hope that hope that Gorman's not the guy that ends up wearing it. He should be playing every day. No, he can't. He's been too good.
If you're going to give Alec Burleson he's our everyday guy, and he's you got to say the same. Gorman has been just as productive.
Yeah, for the last 3 months, right? Yes. Burleson was better early. But the last 3 months, they've been the same player.
Yep.
They've been exactly the same as far as the overall production. So different styles, but same outcome total. All right, let's do a quick check of traffic, and then we'll take you up until 5:45 in the Redbird Rush Hour. Captain Roger Brand's going to let us know what's going on the roadways.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, Kevin, we got a couple of crashes on eastbound 70 right now. We got that crash before our city, or I believe it's the right lane's blocked. Traffic's jammed at 5th Street, and then you've got some backed up traffic just briefly here coming into through Bermuda. Well, it's all the way back to the Interbelt, but it's jammed. The left lane crash there just east of Bermuda on eastbound 70, the newest one. So double trouble eastbound. Westbound 70 is a little slow at the city limits. It's a little slow coming through Lindbergh where you had an earlier crash. A little busy at K and Lake St. Louis out through 61. Southbound 170 still bumper to bumper most of the way from Ladue down to 64. Westbound 64 slow. Kings Highway through Bellevue. It's bogged down from Hanley all the way out through Spady Ballast. We had a crash. They were clearing to the shoulder there. It's slow again from Clarkson all the way to the Boone Bridge and Lake St. Louis Boulevard all the way out to 70. Southbound 270s backed up from Olive down to 64. It means backed up in pockets really down through Manchester. Then it starts opening up 44. Shrewsbury Laclede Station kind of busy. 55 Gasconade Bates. Westbound 44 heavy between the bridges. And eastbound 64 still delays east of 157 to 159. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
All right, that's what's happening on the roadways, and obviously we got a few more minutes here before we run out of time, so 5:45, we're done. 5:50, the pregame starts with Mr. Matt Pauley, and then looking ahead to 6:45 for that first pitch for tonight. All right, so, we know that the jam is possibly coming, and it will eventually, just when everybody gets back. The way it gets really weird, potentially ugly is in the Arenado scenario, but at this point, we don't even know if that's happening, so there's no point in kicking that around anymore. On the rotation side, Matt, I brought this up with the three of us last night to a degree about the broader rotation just being bad for the last couple of months. But let's talk about Andre Pallante for a minute since he's starting tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What's the runway pass fail test been for him in your opinion?
It hasn't been good, and so are you talking about from a big picture, whether or not this season was a thing?
Based on what we've seen this year, what does it make you think about next year for him?
I have less confidence in Andre Pallante right now than I did on opening day this year. Based off what he did in the second half of the season last year, I felt really good about Pallante. And right now, he goes into next year competing for a job in spring training with absolutely nothing guaranteed. Some of the stuff we have seen from him has been alarming. The consistency that you want to find from a guy, it's not there. We know he pitches contacts. There's going to be some tough days, but he's not finding those really good days very much lately either.
No,
so I am concerned about him.
And this is the biggest concern for me, is that it has gotten worse every month.
Yeah.
So, March, he only made the one start, but it was pretty solid. But a 4.23 ERA in April, 4.34 in May. So as of June 1st, you're looking at a guy that was like a 4.2 ERA, which is totally fine for a back of the rotation major league starter. Totally fine. But then it's 4.91, 5.16, and now 9.00 in August in 4 starts, man. So his last 14 starts have been brutal.
Yeah, we got a message saying that he belongs in the bullpen. I couldn't disagree more. I hate Andre Pallante in the bullpen.
Yeah, he's either starting in your rotation or he's in the Memphis.
Yeah, that's right. He does not have the profile that you need from a relief pitcher. So he has to figure it out as a starter, and he has to find what he was doing in this. He was the best pitcher that the Cardinals had in the second half of the season last year. He's got to find that once again. And maybe it's the case that the league has adjusted to him. Well, then he needs to adjust back.
He's had a little bad luck. And I don't like to make that excuse, but his expected ERA is actually in the low 4s. So there's been some bad batted ball luck against him, but that's the problem, though. The problem is when you don't strike people out, you are more subject to luck, right? I mean, he gets a lot of ground balls. That's great. But if they're not hit where somebody is, then they're hits. And I think that's part of the swing and miss issue that they're working to fix with the whole team.
You have to, when you're a pitch to contact guy, you have to have everything working because there's going to be some hits that just find their way through.
Great stuff, buddy. Have a good show tonight. Looking forward to the ball game. Looking forward to the pre and the post. I always tune on the post from home because sometimes it's funny when people get mad and then you get mad. It's pretty great. I enjoy that. But have a fun night tonight, buddy. We'll talk tomorrow. That's Matt Pauley. He's got pregame coming up for you next, right here on your home for the Cardinals, KMOX.
You're listening to Leaf Filter